No one wants this to be labelled for kids. I hope. So, you know the drill. Edward is going to tell us a story about how fucking stupid he was as a youth. Why we call it Edward's Station. Rebecca had crashed. The poor thing had derailed at a junction. Her first major derailment on Sodor, in fact. It hurt, but it wasn't too bad. It could have been much worse. Still, she was in no state to make it to the steamworks on her own. She needed another engine to shunt her there. And that engine was none other than Edward.
Are you alright, Rebecca?
He asked as he was being coupled up.
Yeah, I'm fine,
replied Rebecca quietly.
I see.
Did the troublesome trucks end up giving you trouble after all?
No, it wasn't their fault. I,
got distracted. I was too busy singing with them to notice I was going too fast. By the time my driver realized what was happening and hit the brake for me, it was already too late.
Oh my, is your crew okay?
They're fine, but I'm not.
Well, don't worry. I'll take you to the steamworks, and Victor will have you as good as new in no time.
And off he went.
Lady, I'm so stupid,
muttered Rebecca to herself.
You're not stupid, said Edward. Accidents happen now and again, just when you least expect.
They're probably going to call that place Rebecca's Junction from now on. Now that comment took Edward by surprise.
Why would they do that?
That's what they do here on Sodor. Gordon, finally, admitted that the hill is named after him because he keeps stalling on it. Henry got a tunnel named after him because he got locked up in there for a month. I've even heard of things like Duck's Barber Shop or Thomas's Mine.
Duck's Barber Shop is a new one to me.
I overheard it from Donald and Douglas.
Ah.
The conversation was already speeding up the journey. Edward was puffing through Knapford with his patient before he knew it.
I wouldn't worry about that, he said. If we named a location every time an engine got into an accident, we'd run out of things to name. Besides, I think it's fun. It's nice to have a place named after an engine. It means they'll be remembered long after they're scrapped.
Rebecca huffed. That's easy for you to say, Edward. You have a station named after you, and that's only because it's the first station on your branch line. You didn't do anything silly at Wellsworth. You never do anything silly. Not like me. Suddenly, Edward laughed. It started off as a small chuckle, then it progressed to a hearty giggle, and in no time at all, the old boy was downright guffawing. Rebecca could hardly believe her, whatever it is engines have for ears. She had never heard Edward laugh with such gusto before. Gordon went by, rather confused as to why Edward was laughing so much. "What's so funny?" asked Rebecca.
I'm sorry, Rebecca, said Edward. You can't honestly believe that I've never done anything silly in my life. Rebecca, you're talking to the same engine who once was so occupied with showing off a grand water wheel to people that he ignored orders to stick to the express line and ended up losing the water wheel. Rebecca's jaw dropped. No way! And when I was in charge of pulling the mail trucks while Percy was in need of repairs, I ended up delivering the packages in the wrong order, and I managed to get lost along the way. Rebecca was stunned into silence. Actually, you know what? How about I tell you the real reason why they call Wellsworth Edward's Station? Rebecca hesitated before speaking.
Isn't it because it's the first station on your branch line?
I wish that was the reason why. You see, I was young once too. I didn't pop out of the factory with all the knowledge and experience I have now. In fact, back then, I was quite hot-headed. Get back in line, you stupid trucks! Back then, I wasn't even blue. I was actually painted red, like James.
You used to be red? So I guess that made you Redwood?
You'd be surprised at how often I've heard that one. I was in a particularly bad mood that day. I had gotten into trouble with the fat director because the day before, I wasn't paying attention and ended up bumping directly into Glenn's train. So I had been relegated to the yards. I wasn't happy about that at all. And I took it all out on the trucks.
Hey, ow!
Complained one truck.
What are you doing? We're just trying to be really useful like you!
Yelled another.
You jerk!
Stupid red engine, muttered a third. Doesn't know jack squat.
Oh, shut up, you twits!
I shouted. It just so happened that Glenn had passed by, with his own line of trucks. Edward? What on earth are you doing? He asked, rather surprised.
The fat director has been relegated to the yards today,
I complained.
So all I can do is shunt some stupid trucks.
Well, you should have been watching where you were going.
It's not my fault that you were in my way. Okay, now I know you're making this whole story up.
What makes you think that?
You would never act like that. It wouldn't be right if you did.
Oh, I wish. Now, where was I? I hope you're not biffing those trucks too hard, said Glenn. Because once I'm done with this delivery, I'll need to take that line to Woolsworth.
Yeah, sure, I muttered. They'll be fine.
I certainly hope so. See you later, Eddie. I watched him leave me behind, and it certainly didn't improve my mood one bit.
What does he know about shunting trucks?
I said to myself.
He never gets them lined up in time.
I gave a van an especially hard bump.
Hey!
She yelled.
I didn't even say anything.
I ignored her, of course, the same way I ignored all of their complaints.
It wouldn't even be that hard of a delivery, I said. From here to Woolsworth? That's nothing. If I wasn't stuck in this yard, I could easily deliver it myself. In fact,
And that was when I had an idea. A, not so brilliant one at that.
Oh no, you didn't.
Oh yes, I did.
In fact,
I said,
I think I will deliver these troublesome trucks myself. I'm sure if the fat director sees how well I pull loads, he'll have to let me out of the yards.
Yeah, said a truck. Or maybe he'll get super cross at you for going against his orders and lock you up in your sheds all week. Oh, if only I'd listened to that truck. I just backed up into Glenn's line of trucks and barked at my driver to couple me up.
All right, everyone,
I declared, feeling particularly proud of myself.
we're heading straight for Woolsworth.
I summoned all of my puff and headed straight down the line. Or at least I tried to, except I wasn't going anywhere.
Come on,
I said.
come on!
You've gotta be kidding me. The trucks behind me laughed like a pack of hyenas, and I finally realized what the problem was.
Oh, I see,
I said.
your brakes are on.
Listen to that, guys, said a truck. We got a real genius detective pulling us today.
We're not going to get anywhere unless you turn your brakes off.
But did I give up? Of course not. I just put all of my puff into it. Brakes or no brakes. This was the start of my downfall. Just as I was at my strongest.
On!
Those troublesome trucks released their brakes all at the same time. And with all the speed I had been building up,
Whoa!
I was thundering through Tidmouth like a rocket. I was going fast, even faster than Gordon. And those trucks kept pushing me even more.
Faster, faster, faster! Wait!
I cried.
No, faster! Slower! Slower!
It had only made the trucks go faster. The maniacal laughter echoed in my smoke box until I couldn't hear anything but. I hit my brakes, but it was as if I was racing on ice. I tried the brakes again, but snap!
Hit the brake van! I cried. The brake van! Can't!
Laughed a truck.
You forgot to attach one! I what?
And that was when a horrible thought hit me like a runaway train. I'm a runaway.
I'm a runaway!
Points switched and signals changed. For the first time in my life, I was a runaway engine. And I was already hoping I would never be one again. I passed a certain coffee pot on my way through.
Glenn!
I shouted.
Help!
But of course, there was nothing Glenn could do for me. I wasn't slowing down. I was only going faster. And faster. And faster still!
Push, push, push!
Yelled the trucks, having the time of their lives.
Someone! Anyone! Help!
Then, I had another horrible realization. I was approaching Woolsworth at a terrifying speed.
And this is when you save the day by staying calm and using your wits.
Right? I certainly didn't have any wits about me that day. And as for staying calm, I was doing anything but.
Slow me down!
I cried.
Slow me down!
Speed up! Yelled the trucks. Speed up! I was even more horrified to find out there was a big bend coming up. The bend right before Wellsworth Station. One moment, I was losing my grip on the tracks. The next, I popped right off the rails.
Uh-oh!
And then...
Oh my gosh! Were you okay?
I was alive, but I wouldn't say that I was okay. Anything but...
Oh.
Every part of me hurt. And those trucks still wanted to rub it in.
Looks like we got him good. Oh yeah, he'll never biff us around again. That's for sure.
Luckily, the station was empty. No passengers around. But I was quite horrified when I looked up and saw none other than the station master herself staring down at me. "Oh boy," she said. "Just wait until the fat director hears about this one." He arrived just a few minutes later, and he was cross. Very cross indeed. I'd never seen him look so mad before.
I can't believe you, Edward,
he said to me.
I leave you alone for 10 minutes, and what do? You disobey my orders to stay in the yard, took another engine's train without my permission, and you handled the truck so roughly that they sent you barreling off the tracks. What do you have to say for yourself?
"Listen, sir,"
I said.
Oh, I've really done it now, haven't I?
Oh, yes, you have,
said the fat director with a booming voice.
I see that relegating you to yard duty wasn't enough to keep you in check. I'll have you shut up inside your shed until I decide that you've been there long enough.
But sir,
No buts, Edward. You brought this on yourself, you silly engine. You got lucky. We managed to get everyone out of the station in time, and you were just pulling goods. Safety rules and regulations are not optional on a railway. If we ignore them, we end up putting ourselves and others in danger. Do I make myself clear?
Yes, sir.
Excuse me? I didn't catch that.
Yes, sir!
Good. I'll see if I can find an engine available to haul your sorry tender off to the repair yard. Until then, I hope you take this time to think about what you did.
And as I sat there in the rubble, I did just that. It was all I could do. The station master laughed.
I think we ought to call this place Edward Station from now on, to commemorate this island's first major accident.
I had wished that they would name a place after me after I did something impressive and amazing, not something as silly as that. But, well, we all know how that story ends, don't we?
By the end of the story, Rebecca was very shocked indeed. You're telling me that we call Wellsworth Station Edward Station because you once crashed right into it?
Unfortunately, yes. Not my proudest moment. So you see, Rebecca, we all make mistakes. Even the engines you might not expect. I haven't done anything nearly as foolish since then, because I learned from my mistakes. Failure's the greatest teacher, as they say. So don't let small mistakes like this get you down.
Rebecca beamed as brightly as her yellow livery. Suddenly, her silly mistake at the junction didn't seem so bad anymore. Actually, I think Rebecca's junction has a nice ring to it. And if I get a place named after me because I did something silly, then I've really made it, you know? Gordon's Hill, Henry's Tunnel, Thomas's Mine, Edward Station, Rebecca's Junction! Ooh, and it might be the first time a place was named after a girl engine. That would be so cool! Edward chuckled.
Yes, it would.
Yay, me! As Edward was approaching the steamworks, he couldn't help but to think back on what else had happened that fateful day. Are you alright, Edward?
No, muttered Edward. I mean, I guess I'm okay-ish. My running ball took most of the impact.
The running board? Or your pride?
Oh yeah, my pride. That definitely took the worst of it.
Cheer up, Eddie. You'll be back on the rails in no time.
As he was being dragged along, Edward let out a forlorn sigh. No, I won't. The fact director's going to be locking me up in the shed for a while after this. Stupid, stupid. So stupid!
Hey now, I know you're frustrated, but there's no need to talk about the fact director like that.
I wasn't talking about the fact director.
Oh, well, you shouldn't talk about yourself like that either.
Why shouldn't I? You saw what I did. I got so angry that I took a train that wasn't mine and crashed into a station. I can't believe I did something so stupid.
Edward, please, do not talk about yourself that way. Everyone makes mistakes. Everyone.
Edward scoffed. You don't. You never do. The response he got was laughter. Loud, long laughter. He'd never heard Glenn laugh quite like that before.
I can assure you, Eddie, I'm just as prone to making mistakes as any other engine.
No, you're not. You're just saying that to make me feel better.
Am I? Because that time I accidentally ran over someone's foot sure seems like a mistake to me.
Edward's eyes lit up. No way. You didn't.
Oh, yes, I did. And that man hasn't let me forget it. I can tell you the whole story if you like.
Yes, please. Tell me.
Alright then. So, it started not long after I was built.
Edward laughed to himself as the memory came back to him so vividly. Yep, some things would never really change.
Slow me down!
I cried.
Slow me down!